Okay, welcome back. It's been a busy real estate market so far this spring in 2019. Have you been wondering how to capitalize on this market, whether or not you're a buyer or a seller? Is it even possible to do both? Well, stay tuned. I'm going to give you a couple tips on whether or not you're a buyer or a seller, on how to kind of strategically move through the market, as well as a couple updates on some of the market trends we've been seeing in the local areas. Hi there, I'm Justin McClintock, sales representative with the Property Gallery Realty. I'd like to take a minute just to kind of give you some quick updates and tips on whether you're a buyer or a seller on how to effectively navigate the real estate market. Common question is everybody always wants to know, how's the market, what's going on? So something I want to kind of touch on first is kind of one of the indicators that we use to look at in terms of how the market's performing. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it fast? Is it slow? There's a lot of things that really go into it, and I think, for most of you who don't do real estate every single day, it can be a little confusing, maybe a little overwhelming. So one of the key things that we look at is, a lot of people ask, is it a seller's market? Is it a buyer's market? Is it a balanced market? And the way that we determine this is what's known as months of inventory, or basically the supply of housing available based on how many buyers are buying up the properties. So throughout the majority of 2018, what we saw was a pretty balanced market. So this means that the supply of inventory lasts anywhere from 4 to 6 months, meaning that if no new homes were to come on the market, say starting today, it would take about 4 to 6 months for all of the homes to sell. Now, this usually equates to an equal amount of supply and demand. Now, what we're seeing in 2019 is a bit of recovery in the market in most areas. It seems a lot of people have, kind of taken 2018 to step back and kind of watch the market and see what was happening. But what we're seeing for April 2019, year over year, we're actually seeing twice the amount of sales that we were for 2019 versus 2018. So what that means is that, there's a lot more activity. In terms of average price growth, we haven't seen a ton of price growth in the Tottenham and New Tecumseth areas. But what we are seeing is it has moved into a seller's market. There is only about 2 months worth of inventory. So what does that mean for sellers? How can you capitalize on this market? Now, depending on your price point, you are going to have a different strategy, as the more affordable homes are selling a little bit quicker, with the larger, more expensive homes still taking a little bit longer. But the thing is, they are selling. So you're still getting about 98% of the asking price, selling on average in about 30 days on the market. So with 2 months worth of inventory, the sellers that have been holding off, there are a lot more buyers out there picking these properties up, provided you're priced well and have an effective marketing plan. Now, as a buyer, you may wonder, how can I capitalize myself in a seller's market? Is it not advantageous to the sellers? Well, there's a couple things you can do to prepare yourself to navigate the seller's market effectively as a buyer. The first one being, you really want to go and get pre-approved. So this means talking to your lender, reaching out to myself or your preferred realtor on how to actually get pre-approved and what that means. Establish a budget for yourself, because this is going to give you an advantage when you come to the offer table after you've found the home that you like. Knowing exactly what you can afford allows you to structure your offer in a way where it becomes more appealing to the seller, as opposed to someone who may not be totally ready to go. And again, so if you're a buyer in the kind of smaller entry-level homes, which are more affordable, the townhomes and the semi-detached typically, there is a lot more competition. Just given the mortgage changes, it's really put some downward pressure on the entry-level market. So you are going to be competing quite often with other buyers for the same homes. So you're going to want to definitely know what you can afford and how to get in there and acquire the home that you're looking for. So if you are a buyer that's looking to move up, you're still finding a really good value in the larger 3 and 4 bedroom detached homes. Again, specifically because of the mortgage changes that we saw last year in 2018. The larger detached homes, you're still seeing, on average, the affordability has come down, still about 10 to 15% in some areas. So we would still say that they're kind of on sale versus what we were seeing in the last 2 years. So just something to think about. There are different ways that you can position yourself to get the best bang for your buck, so to speak, as a seller and as a buyer. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to kind of see where you're at and what your options are. So let's have a look at, we're talking about the Tottenham and New Tecumseth area specifically today for the month of April 2019. So when we're looking at the average home price sales for April, we're seeing about $582,000 as an average sale price, and that's across all home segments, so townhomes all the way up to the larger detached. And they were all selling in about 98% of the asking price and an average of about 33 days on the market. Now, year over year in terms of price growth, that's actually about even, give or take, plus or minus 1 or 2% overall. So, while the prices have remained steady, there is a lot more activity going on in the market. So to me, that's showing us signs of a good, healthy market. We've got twice the amount of sales that we saw in 2018 compared to 2019. There was, I believe it was, 82 sales in April 2019 versus 47 back in 2018. So prices remain the same, but lots more activity. So buyers, you do have more options, and sellers, there are more buyers out there for your property. So when we go into the 4-bedroom detached segment for New Tecumseth, the average sale price was about $703,000. Again, about 98% of the asking price is what they were selling for, taking a little bit longer at about 39 days on the market. This is typical for the larger homes. They do take a little bit longer to sell on average. About, even though the average was 39, you're usually looking at about 30 to 60 days. And again, that price point was even year over year, so it hasn't really increased, it hasn't really decreased, except for the one area in Tottenham where we did see the year over year price is still down about 10% from 2018 overall. Now again, this does vary from month to month based on the size of the home that are selling. So if you need something more specific, feel free to reach out and I'd be happy to get you that information. The 3-bedroom detached homes across New Tecumseth, so Tottenham, Beaton, and Alliston, they were up about 6% year over year at about $571,000, again selling in around 98% of the asking price and about 30 days on the market again. The semi-detached homes were selling for about $539,000 in New Tecumseth, and this is up again approximately about 6% year over year. Pretty similar in what we're seeing in, like I said, the more affordable homes, townhomes and semi. The demand has increased year over year. They're selling again about 99% of the asking price, and for April the average days on market for the semis was only about 10 days, so they are moving rather quickly. Again, just another reason to go out and make sure that you're pre-approved, because if you see a home that you like, it's typically not going to last long if it's in these more affordable price ranges. The townhomes were selling on average for about $487,000. Again, 98% of the asking price was the average, so a little bit of flexibility sometimes, and they were selling in about 10 to 30 days on average. So the year-over-year price increase from in New Tecumseth for the townhomes was about 3 to 8%, typically depending on the area. So if you have any questions or you want a more detailed breakdown, feel free to visit my blog or check out the full write-up that I've done. There should be some information below, or wherever you are, click on the link for more information. And I've got a full breakdown for you on each housing segment for each portion of the town, as well as a bit more insights than what I can kind of give you here. So if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to sit down and have kind of a strategy consultation, whether you're thinking about buying or selling, even if it's now or in the future. There's a lot of preparation work that goes into buying and selling a home, especially if you're planning on selling and buying at the same time. It's often a much more complex process than people realize, so a lot more planning needs to go into that. So feel free to contact me anytime. My cell phone number is 519-217-2034. Have a look at all the latest listings for sale if you want to just start your home search online and start casually browsing for what's actually available. You can head over to one of my websites at www.yourrealestatefinder.ca. Again, thank you for watching. I'll look forward to seeing you next month, and we'll talk to you soon.